Hello ladies and gentlemen, today is a very different episode of This Is Our Life. Hopefully this video will work. Sometimes they don't work, they don't upload, and this is an important video. For those of you who support Obama, for those of you who support Romney, I'm going to go through some things. Why don't we go with Obama to start with, and I have a list of things. Okay, things that Obama has done. He signed the NDAA into law, making it legal to assassinate Americans without charge, without trial, which also allows for indefinite detention, without charge, without trial. Initiated and personally oversaw a secret kill list, waged war in Libya, started a covert drone war in Yemen, escalated the proxy war in Somalia, escalated the CIA drone war in Pakistan, maintained a presence in Iraq even after ending the war. There are still thousands, yes, thousands of U.S. soldiers, troops, Marines, sailors in Iraq. Sharply escalated the war in Afghanistan. If you remember, a lot of the troops in Iraq were then sent to Afghanistan, and those that are being withdrawn from Afghanistan, guess what? They're being sent back to Iraq. Secretly deployed U.S. Special Forces to 75 countries. I don't know if you really want me to go through that list. Sold $30 billion, billion with a B, of weapons to the dictatorship in Saudi Arabia. Signed an agreement for 7 military bases in Colombia. Opened a military base in Chile. Touted nuclear power even after the disaster in Japan. Opened up deep water oil drilling even after the BP disaster. Did a TV commercial promoting clean coal. Coal ain't clean. Defended body scans and pat-downs at airports. Signed and extended the Patriot Act and added to it. Deported a modern record of 1.5 million immigrants. By the way, I'm from Spain, so. Continued Bush's rendition program. There's a partial list of Obama's dealings, listed roughly chronologically. Most recent first, Obama implements Iran sanctions. Electronic monitoring by Justice Department on the rise under Obama. At the UN, Obama falsely claims America sides with democratic change in the Mideast. The new Stanford NYU study documents the civilian terror from Obama's drones. Counterproductive drone war terrorizes civilians in Pakistan. The drone war has risen to anxiety and psychological trauma among civilian communities. Obama wins right to indefinitely detain Americans under NDAA. Obama administration to spend an estimated $350 billion on nuclear weapon upgrades. But the U.S. doesn't acknowledge the hypocrisy in sanctioning and threatening Iran for pursuing nuclear energy. I'm not afraid of Iran. Iran hasn't invaded another country in hundreds of years. Some things that are not on here. The U.S. has attacked the internet in Iran. Yet they say, oh no, Iran's going to attack the internet over here. They're a third world country. They're not capable of doing much. You know, most of the hackers are in the United States and Europe and Japan, some in China. Obama has kept his promise to not prosecute CIA torturers, leaving them unaccountable. Rahm Emanuel, President Obama supports me against striking teachers in Chicago. Suspected U.S. drone strike kills civilians in Yemen. Remember, he's killed U.S. citizens by drone attack on his orders. I mean, he said, yes, this person killed this person. Obama sends 200 Marines to Guatemala to fight drug trafficking. Yet the U.S. government is the biggest drug trafficker in the world. Obama authorized covert support for Syrian rebels. Obama signs law increasing aid to Israel day before Romney trip to Holy Land. Obama in Yemen, killing civilians, bolstering dictatorship, and bombing in secret. Obama signs executive order giving himself control of all communication systems in America. Now, remember, folks, you said you hated this kind of stuff under Bush, and rightfully so. But now it's okay because Obama's doing it. I'd like to know why. U.S. beefs up Persian Gulf forces. And then there's the lesser of two evils argument. When you vote for the lesser of two evils, you still vote for evil. U.S. eyes return to some Southeast Asia military bases, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, etc. Obama ignored CIA report against Afghan escalation. Under Obama, the export of American arms to countries around the world, even those actively repressing their own citizens, is booming. The United States is the world's top provider of major conventional weapons. CIA said to aid in steering arms to Syrian opposition. Drone strikes threaten 50 years of international law. Obama asserts presidential powers he once spoke critically of. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The U.S. is not leaving Iraq or Afghanistan as Obama claims. February 7, 2012, the CIA is expected to maintain a large clandestine presence in Iraq and Afghanistan long after the departure of conventional U.S. troops as part of a plan by the Obama administration to rely on a combination of spies and special operations forces to protect U.S. interests, etc. And then we have Fast and Furious. I mean, this list goes on and on. And if you would like to know the source, the Obama administration. Bush Obama, same old drama, the stpeteforpeace.org. Now let's see. This is the humble libertarian, peace, love, liberty. Bush 2.0, 100 ways Barack Obama is just like George W. Bush. Open-ended warfare. Iraq. We should have known in 2008 that we wouldn't see any real change from the Obama administration despite campaigning for the U.S. Senate in 2004 on a platform of voting against Bush's war budgets. When he became a senator, Obama voted for every single one of Bush's requests. First surge in Afghanistan, second surge in Afghanistan, phony Afghan withdrawal, the rise of drone warfare, bombing campaign in Somalia, bombing campaign in Yemen, bombing campaign in Pakistan, bombing campaign in Libya. Defense spending levels went up, record casualty levels, overseas contingency operations despite ramping the global war on terror up to unprecedented levels as detailed above. The Obama administration decided to seriously downplay its title by renaming it Overseas Contingency Operations. Chillingly Orwellian, isn't it? And quite typically Obama. Make no substantive changes at all. God and war rhetoric. To wrap up Obama's continuation of Bush's foreign policy, I give you none other than Jon Stewart, marveling at how similar Obama's war rhetoric is to Bush's, even to the point of invoking God in our fight against other countries and refusing to apologize. And then there's a video of that guy. Police state, the Patriot Act, the TSA, war on drugs, CIA rendition, habeas corpus. Obama administration also continued Bush's suspension of the long-standing legal tradition of habeas corpus, insisting that it has the right to detain suspected terrorists indefinitely without trial. That means you and me. You do not have the right to remain silent. Obama administration actually had the gall to ask the Supreme Court to overhaul long-standing law that stops police from initiating questions unless a defendant's lawyer is present. Another stark example of the White House seeking limit rather than expand rights. Or test genetic evidence used against you. The Obama administration has also limited the rights of prisoners to test genetic evidence used to convict them. There are a lot of innocent people on death row, a lot of innocent people in prison. Texas has knowingly executed a number of innocent people. The Department of Homeland Security and swine flu. The Obama administration further empowered the growing police state and set a chilling precedent when it let the Department of Homeland Security manage a health issue, a strain of flu referred to as swine flu. The DHS declared a state of emergency in the U.S. and got out in front of the manufactured swine flu crisis. Disregard for the Constitution and unchecked executive powers. Faith-based initiatives. Obama curiously continued Bush's unconstitutional faith-based initiatives. Ever heard of the First Amendment? Signing statements. On the campaign trail, Obama called presidential signing statements, letters of interpretation, and recommendations attached to congressional legislation unconstitutional and promised not to use them. Then attached a signing statement to a $410 billion spending bill as president. If you want to know why this is a dangerous assumption of power by the executive, and it says to click several of these links to get the specifics. Hillary Clinton appointment, unconstitutional. If you think I'm splitting hairs, you can bite me. War on Libya. We already touched on the czars. You know, if you hated czars under Bush and Reagan, why are they okay under Obama? I think the main reason people voted for Obama is because he's black. It was a racist issue. You voted for a man based on race, which makes you a racist, which is just as bad as voting against somebody based on race.
I don't feel it was very well planned.
It is exactly this kind of centralization of executive power, isolated from the advice, consent, and oversight of the people via their representatives, that worried Democrats about George W. Bush. Before he died, the Democrats' most senior Senator Robert Byrd condemned Obama's czar strategy as an unprecedented and illegal power grab that centralizes power in the executive. Distribution of TARP funds. Though you'll read about several broken promises in a minute, one promise Obama has kept is his distribution of TARP 2 funds to non-financial institutions, converting federal loans to common stock, forcing U.S. banks to accept TARP money. Census Bureau grab. Obama's move of the United States Census out of the Department of Commerce and under the direct control of the White House was unconstitutional, politically motivated, and a dangerous, undemocratic expansion of executive power. Rebuking SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States. This was extremely unusual and extremely unseemly for a President of the United States to do during the State of the Union address, and they provided the video for it. Lies, lies, lies. The Bush administration was marred by lies, broken campaign promises. His administration looked nothing like the promises he made during the 2000 presidential campaign. Non-emergency legislation. Obama promised to publish all non-emergency legislation to the website for 5 days before the president signs it. He broke that promise over and over again. Lobbyists. Despite promising to keep lobbyists out of his administration, Obama broke his word again and again, making 17 exceptions to this promise in his first 2 weeks. And remember, most of the people in the Obama administration were in the Bush administration. Income tax cuts for seniors. Obama promised to eliminate income taxation for seniors making less than $50,000 a year. He has broken this promise despite numerous opportunities to keep it. Tax credit for businesses. The president also boasted during his campaign that during 2009, 2010, existing businesses will receive $3,000 refundable tax credit for each additional full-time employee hired, and has failed to keep his word. Retirement accounts. Obama made it a part of his agenda to allow withdrawals of 15% up to $10,000 from retirement accounts without penalty, although subject to normal taxes. This would apply to withdrawals in 2008, including retroactively in 2009, but didn't include this measure in the stimulus package or his budget proposal. The Armenian genocide. Obama broke his promise to recognize the Armenian genocide. The tax credit for college tuition. On the campaign trail, Obama promised a $4,000 tax cut for college tuition, but backpedaled when he signed a much smaller $2,500 tax credit. The partisan tenor. Obama promised a different tone in Washington, D.C. and a move past bitter partisan rhetoric. It took him less than a week as president to berate Republicans and sully the dignity of his office by picking a very publicly rhetorical fight with a private citizen, Rush Limbaugh. Not that I like Rush Limbaugh. He's just as bad. Remember, Rush Limbaugh's a neocon, not a conservative. Neocons are socialists. You have to understand where conservatism comes from. Doggone lies. If you can't trust someone with little things, you certainly can't trust them with bigger things. Obama chose purebred dog Bo for the White House family's first dog instead of adopting a dog from a shelter like he promised. Spending the auto bailout. I thought all these bailouts were bad when Bush did them, but they're okay for when Obama does them? It doesn't make sense, folks. Taxing some employee health benefits. Arrogance and hypocrisy. I won. In his first private meeting with congressional Republicans, instead of reaching across the aisle and seeking earnest dialogue, Obama smugly told them that he should have his way because I won. I don't think we're not keeping score. Obama to Representative Peter DeFazio, one of the Democratic congressmen who voted against the stimulus package, don't think we're not keeping score, brother. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm right, you're wrong. Shut up and take it. That's pretty much what Obama said when he asked about public opinion against raising the debt ceiling.
Are you done?
No. Osama bin Laden death. Comparing President Bush's announcement after Hussein's capture to President Obama's announcement after Osama bin Laden's death. Notice the difference? No, they're both arrogant. Schooled in hypocrisy. Obama's daughters attend a private school in Washington, D.C., enjoying the freedom of education choice that the Obama administration has denied to poor children who live in Washington. More on that later. When we read it, you're going to flip your lid. In just 10 months, President Obama has already played as much golf as George W. Bush did in his entire 8 years in power. Now, let's do this on Romney, because I'm sure, you know, I don't know how you can be supporting this guy. The signature legislative accomplishment of the man that Republicans have chosen to repeal and replace Obamacare was Romneycare, which was the blueprint and model for the Affordable Care Act. Remember, Romney's a socialist, a neocon. He's not going to make any changes. Romney's not pro-life. Romney makes money off the abortion pill, the so-called morning after pill. He makes money off of it, and he has said numerous times, as have his aides, that he's not going to change anything about abortion. The most controversial aspect of Obamacare for its critics was the individual mandate. Mitt Romney, like Barack Obama, believes individual mandates can be a good ingredient of public policy. Mitt Romney reminds critics that he believed Romneycare was good for the state of Massachusetts, but shouldn't be implemented nationwide. And that's how he's substantially different from Obama. That's it. And, you know, we don't want, people like me don't want to replace it. We want to get rid of it. Like Obama and the Democrats provided for the Affordable Care Act, Romney's legislative alternative would make sure people who want to keep their current insurance can do so. Like Obamacare, like Barack Obama, Mitt Romney wants to expand federal spending on Medicaid to help each state cover residents who cannot afford health insurance. By the way, my income is disability. I receive Medicare and Medicaid, both. Yes, I receive both, because Medicaid pays my Medicare premium. I receive a disability check each month. Both Mitt Romney and Barack Obama flip-flopped on whether Obamacare is or is not a tax when it was politically suitable. The same Wall Street recipients of TARP bailout money that were top Obama donors in 2008 are top Romney donors in 2012. And remember, Goldman Sachs owns both Obama and Romney. They're the ones funding these two idiots. The Obama administration has failed to prosecute a single Wall Street executive for malfeasance related to the 2007-2008 financial crash. Wall Street's aforementioned donation patterns make for a compelling conclusion. A Romney administration would be no different. Setting aside the justice system, legislative fixes for perverse incentives on Wall Street have likewise been underwhelming. Dodd-Frank has been impotent to prevent risky trading, and stress tests for federally insured banks only anticipate another housing crash, not a catastrophic hit to America's very monetary system itself. Remember, China has dropped the dollar. Just about every country in the world has dropped the U.S. dollar. Like Obama, Romney supports taxpayer bailouts for struggling corporations, handouts that go from hardworking Americans to wealthy companies with irresponsible management. The most controversial bailout for Republicans, and one of the motivators behind the Tea Party protest movement that began in 2009, was the TARP bailout of big Wall Street financials. Like Obama, who voted for it as a senator and continues to support it and defend it as president, Mitt Romney supported and continues to support TARP. Not only does Mitt Romney approve of Barack Obama's federal management of auto industry bankruptcies, he's credited for it. Republicans criticize Obama for his role in getting Solyndra's hands dirty with federal money, but at his own big financial company, Bain & Company, Mitt Romney secured millions in a financial bailout of his corporation's unstruggling finances. Though he's flip-flopped on the issue along with so many others, Mitt Romney has also supported the federal stimulus package passed by the Democrats and signed by Barack Obama, writing that the all-Democrat stimulus that passed in early 2009 will accelerate the timing of the start of the recovery. Another thing that Mitt Romney and Barack Obama have in common is that the numbers strongly suggest they are both wrong about the 2009 economic stimulus package. I mean, I can go on and on. Both Mitt Romney and Barack Obama supported payroll tax extensions. Neither Mitt Romney nor Barack Obama have charted a course away from the bipartisan consensus that deficit-funded tax cuts stimulate economic growth, so that other than putting up a big fight over the details of tax policy, their substantive philosophies of fiscal policy are essentially the same. Like Obama, Mitt Romney is open to a value-added tax as a potential fiscal policy solution. In discussions of tax policy, Mitt Romney's working definition of wealthy or high income seems to be $200,000 a year, the same as that commonly used by Barack Obama. And I'm skipping a whole lot of stuff, people. Yet their team of foreign policy experts, from Obama's Vice President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to Mitt Romney's team of Bush-era neocon foreign policy advisors, indicates that their equal commitment to Washington's unpopular and incoherent foreign policy status quo. And for the first time since 1944, neither of the two major party candidates, Obama or Romney, have military experience. Despite running on a platform of change, Obama's first term as president has demonstrated his commitment to the Bush-era strategies of nation-building and counterinsurgency. Mitt Romney doesn't think Obama's commitment to nation-building is strong enough. Well, they're actually the same. Mitt Romney and Barack Obama support the Bush-era doctrine of preemptive war. Mitt Romney agrees with Obama that the president can act unilaterally to take the country to war without Congress. People, these were things you said you hated about Bush, but you love them about Obama. I don't get it. The physical policies, that is, the financial policies, the economic policies of Bush, Romney, and Obama are all the freaking same. You know, this so-called debate that they had, that wasn't a debate. They weren't talking about the real issues. It was staged, people. It was staged. I'm just going to go way down here toward the lower end. Rex Santorum, and there's no different, quote, there's no difference between Obama and these two gentlemen, Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich. Gary Johnson, most Americans are hard-pressed to find a difference between Romney and Obama when it comes to intervention. Ralph Nader, consumer advocate and former presidential candidate, Ralph Nader says he sees far too little difference between Obama and Romney, arguing that we deserve more choices in this country. the Des Moines Register, voters. I mean, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Can a man who essentially agrees with President Obama on all the key issues realistically become the Republican nominee for president? Okay, people, this is a long video. I've gone through a lot of stuff. Obama, Bush, Romney, same thing. I don't understand how you can continue to support these two people. Please tell me. Please, I am begging you to tell me what the actual difference between these two people are. And I didn't go through everything. There's a lot more I could go through. Vote for no one. You don't need a leader. You're strong enough yourself.